Hi everyone, Marcus Lopez here, and welcome to the last episode of Black Sweater Talk for 2018. I just want to take a moment and talk about the year that has been, because it's been a great year for me. It's been challenging, it's been frustrating, it's been inspiring and uplifting, and it's a year that has allowed me to grow more into who I am, into who I can become. It's been a really life-changing year for me. One of the things that I really wanted to do this year was publish my second book. And I did succeed at doing that. Everything He Thought He Knew was published in October of this year. But it didn't happen without challenges and setbacks. Because when I first received the manuscript back from my editor, while his comments were positive, he also took apart the entire story, which initially really got my back up, because I had thought that I had written a good story. I thought that it was on track. I thought that it was, whole. But like a good editor, he caught the holes. He caught the problems with story structure, with the story arc, with the themes. And those are things you're very thankful for in your editor, because those are things that help you write a great book. So getting Everything He Thought He Knew onto the bookshelves for me took a lot longer than I had originally anticipated, and that was a bit frustrating and a bit disappointing. So I really had to dig deep within myself to come up with the strength and the courage to keep on keeping on. And I'm really happy that I did, because there's been a lot of great feedback around the book. And it's just an amazing feeling to see something like that you've created really touching the lives of other people. Another way that this has been a life-changing year for me is in terms of just general health and living. I travel a lot for work, and in 2017 I just found that I was constantly getting sick, constantly feeling tired and exhausted, not having the energy to do the things that I love to do. And I felt like I was repeatedly, almost annoyingly so, in my doctor's office a lot. And you have these, as Oprah calls them, these aha moments. And I had one shortly after talking to my doctor in December of 2017, where I needed to make some lifestyle changes. And it was daunting because I didn't know really where to begin. And I started off 2018 sick as a dog on January 1st, flew out to Vancouver, spent my whole time there in my hotel room in bed, because I had a fever, the chills, and that lasted in some form for close to 3 weeks. And I said to myself, enough is enough. And on January 17th of this year, I gave up alcohol. And some people in my life said, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Like, why would you do that? Because it came back to the things that I was struggling with: my sleep, low energy levels, feeling unmotivated and not myself. And I thought it would be really hard to do that, because I enjoyed a glass of wine with dinner. I enjoyed meeting up with friends in the summer for a drink on a patio. And I do a lot of cooking, and I really enjoy French cooking, which involves a lot of eggs, wine, cream, butter. And when I stopped cold turkey, I realized very quickly that I didn't miss it. And so I stopped drinking. I stopped eating foods that were cooked or baked with alcohol. Maybe I went a little hardcore on it, but for me that was the only way to do it. And that precipitated me running more. I've been a runner for 10 years, but in the last 2 years, 2016, 2017, I was running 5-6 kilometers maybe every time I ran. Occasionally I'd get up to 10 kilometers, but that wasn't my norm. I was just running kind of to keep active, but I wasn't pushing myself. And I can go back I remember going to Munich and having a chat with a colleague on the plane, and he was telling me about how he was doing all these ultra marathons. He was running 100 kilometer 100 kilometers, doing these, triathlons, and it just hit me almost in a wave of oh my God, I'm pathetic. And I didn't mean I was pathetic in the sense in that typical sense, but just like I'm really not pushing myself, and I know I can do more, and I know I can be better. And that conversation really prompted me into running more, so that within 3 weeks of that conversation, I was running 10 kilometers every time I ran, pushing myself so that it was February or March, as I was running, when I was doing my long runs, which used to be 10 kilometers, now they were somewhere between 16 and 18, occasionally getting up to 20, 21. And so I've been trying to maintain that since then. And, it's been a little bit harder, I'll admit, in November, when it's been really cold, and I've been basically running about 10 kilometers on my long runs. But again, this morning I was out running, and I got in 15 kilometers, and it feels good. It feels good to be pushing myself. And the other thing I had to do is look at what I've been eating. And, as I said, I love French cooking, and I wasn't prepared. As much as I gave up alcohol and didn't mind doing that, I was not prepared to give up butter, creams, and egg. And so that meant looking at what I eat. I love to cook. I do a lot of cooking from scratch. But I had to now eliminate all those processed foods, which weren't a lot in my diet, but they were, I think, enough to have an impact. And so now I'm in the grocery store, and I'm looking at the labels on the food, and I'm like, no. Too much sodium, too much sugar. And can't I make that at home? And so these three things for me, no alcohol, more running, and working on my core strength and doing core training, watching what I eat. Between January and June, I lost 20 pounds. And then I went into maintenance mode and staying focused on those goals of more running, no alcohol, watching what I eat. And so by September, I was finally able to go and buy new pants. And what another feeling, what a wonderful feeling to be in the store at Hudson Bay in downtown Toronto and buying pants that are 2 sizes down. That was a really big win for me. And to see the clerk, Rosalind, I will not forget her, because she was like, damn, those look good. And that was a great moment for me. So 2018 was a year that I grew as a person. I grew into who I am now, and I think it's setting me up for a better 2019, or at least that's the hope. Because I've been very intentional this year about what I've been wanting to achieve, what I've wanted to do, and doing it. And that intention, really came from reading Oprah Winfrey's what's her book? I always have it on the tip of my tongue until I want to say it. The Wisdom of Sundays. And it's conversations that are based on her Super Soul conversation series on TV. And Oprah says that the number one principle that rules my life is intention. Thought by thought, choice by choice, we are co-creating our lives based on the energy of our intention. And I think that is so true. So I have a lot of goals for myself in 2019. I have about 10. And I realized that for me to be better, for me to exceed this year and be better in 2019, I really do have to be intentional in what I do. So I'm inviting you today to look back on your year, where you've been, where you are now, where you're hoping to go. Whatever goals you set for yourself next year, whatever it is you want to do, be intentional. Be intentional in your thoughts. Be intentional in your choices. Be intentional in your actions. Step up and become who you dare to be.